My name is Diana. Growing up, I was the princess of a castle. My parents, bless their souls, were wealthy beyond measure, but they instilled in me the value of money from an early age. Money talks, but wisdom listens, my dad would say. My mom insisted I learn how to budget before I even mastered spelling. Luxury was a fairy tale until it wasn't. At 12, a private jet crash turned my fairy tale into a stark reality. Overnight, my life of opulence vanished. My grandmother took me in, and we moved to a modest house far from the grandeur I was used to. It was a different kind of life where luxury was found in love and care, not material possessions. My inheritance was a distant promise, locked away till I turned 25. Under Grandma's guidance, I adapted, learned, and thrived. College was both my escape and my grounding. That's where Alex entered my life. He was as different from my world as one could imagine, a scholarship student with a heart of gold and a wit that cut through any pretense. We clicked in a way I never expected. Introducing him to Grandma was nerve-wracking. I hadn't mentioned the money. Grandma had advised me to keep it a secret, and I understood why. I wanted Alex to love me for who I am, not for my bank account. "Grandma, this is Alex," I said, my stomach in knots. "Nice to meet you, ma'am," Alex said, extending his hand. Grandma shook it warmly. Sit, Grandma gestured, her eyes twinkling as she took in Alex's nervous posture. "You're the young man who stole my granddaughter's heart." Alex blushed, a sheepish grin spreading across his face. I guess you could say that, ma'am." We sat down, and the conversation flowed more easily than I had hoped. Grandma shared stories of my parents and my childhood, stories that made Alex laugh and look at me with warmth that made my heart swell. "You've got a good one here," Grandma said, nodding towards me but looking at Alex. "Takes after her mother, strong and kind. But don't be fooled, she's got a bit of mischief in her too." Alex chuckled, squeezing my hand under the table. The evening was filled with laughter and shared stories. Alex fit into our world as if he had always belonged there. After helping Grandma with the dishes, I knew I had made the right choice bringing him into my life. As we left, Alex turned to me, his face serious. "Your grandma's amazing. Hearing about your parents and your life, I feel like I understand you more." I nodded, feeling a lump form in my throat. "I'm glad, Alex. There's a lot more to me than meets the eye." He smiled, pulling me into a hug. "I'm here for all of it, every layer. It doesn't matter what's in your bank account. It's you I care about." I hugged him back tighter than ever before. In that moment, I knew I could trust him, but I also felt the weight of the secret I was keeping, a delicate balance I hoped wouldn't tip over. The drive to Alex's parents' house was quiet, filled with a heavy silence. I could tell Alex was nervous, gripping the steering wheel tightly. "You sure you're ready for this?" I asked, trying to break the ice. "Yeah, just my mom can be a bit much. Don't take anything she says to heart," Alex said, his attempt at reassurance not quite reaching his eyes. The house loomed ahead, grand and imposing. As we pulled up, my stomach twisted into knots. This was it, no turning back now. We barely got through the door when Alex's mom, Gloria, made her entrance. Her eyes landed on me like laser beams, sizing me up in a way that made my skin crawl. "So this is the girl you've been hiding," she said, her voice as cold as the marble floors. "Mom, this is Diana," Alex began, but Gloria waved him off. "I know who she is. Come, let's sit. I've prepared some tea." Her command was not to be ignored, leading us into a living room that felt more like a showroom. As Gloria served the tea, she wasted no time. "I hear you were raised by your grandmother. Must have been quite a humble upbringing," she said, the word humble sounding more like an insult. I clenched my jaw, fighting to keep my cool. "My grandmother taught me a lot about life, important stuff, not just fluff." Gloria's lips twitched into a smirk. "I see. And your parents? Gone too soon. How does one cope without proper guidance?" Alex jumped in, clearly uncomfortable. "Mom, that's enough. Let's not." "It's okay, Alex," I interrupted, feeling a surge of defiance. "Yes, my parents are gone, and yes, it was tough, but I got through it. It made me who I am." Gloria sipped her tea, her gaze unwavering. "Interesting. And what about your future? Any plans, or are you just riding on my son's coattails?" That stung. I took a deep breath, reminding myself why I was here. "I've got plans, big ones. I don't need to ride on anyone's coattails to make them happen." The air was thick with tension. Alex, bless him, tried to change the subject. "Mom, let's not do this. We're here to enjoy each other's company." Gloria set down her teacup, a calculated move. I'm merely trying to understand the woman my son has chosen. You can't fault a mother for caring about her child's future. The back and forth felt endless, a verbal tug of war with no winners. Just when I thought I couldn't take any more, Alex's sister Lily made her entrance. Her eyes were curious but held an edge of judgment that matched her mother's. So you're the famous girlfriend. Heard a lot about you. Not all good, I might add. Lily said, her voice dripping with disdain. I was about to snap back when Alex stood up. That's enough, both of you. We came here in good faith to share a part of our lives with you. If that's not something you can respect, maybe we should leave. The rest of the visit was awkward, conversations forced, every laugh a bit too loud. But Alex held my hand under the table, a silent promise that we were in this together. As we left, I felt a mix of relief and frustration. I'm sorry about that, Alex said once we were in the car. They can be a bit intense. I sighed, watching the house lights fade in the rearview mirror. It's not your fault, but your mom and sister, there's something else. Alex chuckled, a sad sound. Yeah, they are. But hey, we survived, right? Survived and stronger, I agreed, leaning my head against the window. The night sky was clear, the stars shining bright. Maybe it was a sign. No matter how tough things got, there would always be a way through. But the warning came swift and sharp. At our next family meetup, Gloria didn't waste any time laying down the law. If you two are serious about getting married, we're getting a prenup signed, she declared, her eyes drilling into me as if daring me to object. I kept my cool, shrugged, and said, fine by me. I'm not after your son's money. Alex looked like he wanted to disappear. Once we were out of there, he was all apologies. My mom will get in our way, but I promise we'll be happy. The wedding planning went smoothly enough, but the big day was when the storm hit. Lily, drunk beyond belief, decided to make a scene at the reception. She staggered up with a glass in hand and slurred out accusations loud enough for everyone to hear. This one's a gold digger, she shouted. Doesn't know the first thing about our kind of life? Illiterate, trying to snag my brother's cash. After that, there were other antics, molesting guests and more things that aren't fit for decent society. My face flushed hot with anger and humiliation. Without a second thought, I pulled out my phone and called the police. This drama needed an audience, and I wasn't about to let Lily's outrageous performance go unchecked. The aftermath was a whirlwind of accusations and threats. Gloria vowed revenge, declaring that I had brought disgrace upon their family. You've made a mockery of us, she raged. The press will have a field day with my daughter's antics, thanks to you. Alex was torn, trying to mediate in a conflict with no room for neutrality. I could see the strain in his eyes, the way his shoulders sagged under the weight of his family's drama and his desire to keep us afloat. But I stood my ground. This wasn't just about me anymore. It was about drawing a line, refusing to let wealth or its absence dictate how I was treated. As the dust settled and the night grew quiet, Alex and I sat amidst the wreckage of what was supposed to be our happiest day. I'm sorry, he whispered, his voice heavy with unshed tears. I never wanted any of this. I took his hand, feeling the rough edges of our new reality. We'll get through this, I said, but things need to change. We have to set boundaries with your family. The vow we made that night wasn't just about staying together. It was about fighting for the respect we deserved, refusing to let old money or old grudges define our future. 2 years had passed since we said I do, and those vows felt heavier each day. Gloria had practically vanished from our lives, and honestly, I didn't miss her one bit. But it wasn't just her absence that marked those years. It was Alex's changing attitude that really drove a wedge between us. He started coming home late, if at all, with excuses about work that didn't quite add up. The warmth we once shared had cooled into courtesy, and then even that faded. The tipping point came one night when he threw his jacket onto a chair as if it had personally offended him and said something I never thought I'd hear. You know, I could have done better. I should have married someone with a bit more class, more in line with my circle. His words stung like a slap. I stood there, gobsmacked, wanting to scream and tell him about the fortune that was mine. But Grandma's voice echoed in my head, advising patience and urging me to see Alex for who he truly was. So, I swallowed the truth and the hurt, biting back tears. I thought maybe, just maybe, if we had a child, it might bridge the gap between us and remind him of the love that brought us together. One evening, I ventured, Alex, don't you think it's time we thought about having the baby? It could bring us closer. His reaction was like a cold shower. A baby now? Don't be ridiculous. We're not ready for that, far from it. His refusal wasn't just dismissive, it was laced with disdain, making it clear that what I wanted, what I thought could save us, was nothing but a foolish fantasy. Days turned into weeks, and those weeks into months of silence, living side by side but not together. Each rude remark and late night added another brick to the wall between us. I confided in Grandma, pouring my heart out over cups of tea that had gone cold before I could finish them. He's not the man I married, Grandma. I don't know if he ever was. She listened, her eyes sad but understanding. You can't make someone be who you want them to be, darling. Sometimes we see what we want to see until we can't ignore the truth any longer. Her words, though heavy, carried a sliver of relief. I wasn't crazy or asking for too much. I just wanted a partner, someone who saw me as an equal and respected me. But as the days passed, it became clear that Alex wasn't that person anymore, if he ever had been. The idea of leaving crossed my mind more times than I cared to admit, but every time, I'd pushed it away, hoping against hope that something would change, that the man I loved would find his way back to me. For Alex's birthday, I went all out, hoping to reignite the spark in what had become a mundane marriage. No expense was spared, and the guest list was a who's who of our closest friends. Notably absent were Gloria and Lily. The drama was the last thing I needed ruining the night. Alex was in high spirits, soaking up the adoration and well wishes from everyone. For a moment, it felt like we were back in the honeymoon phase, all laughter and inside jokes. But that bubble burst the second Gloria and Lily crashed the party, uninvited but clearly expecting to be welcomed. It turned out Alex had gone behind my back and invited them, hoping to avoid family fallout. Their presence turned the atmosphere tense. Lily, true to form, made a beeline for the booze, dressed in an outfit that screamed, "Look at me," in the worst way possible. Gloria's snide remarks flew under the radar, each one a veiled jab at me or our marriage. As the night wore on, Lily's antics escalated, fueled by champagne and a desperate need to be the center of attention. She started ranting about me not fitting into their family, how I was unworthy of their name. It was a mess, and Alex was nowhere to be found, too busy playing the good son to notice the circus unfolding. The evening reached its climax when Lily, several sheets to the wind, decided to air out some dirty laundry. Waving around documents, she slurred insults, each word a knife. The spectacle ended with her stumbling into the pool, documents flying everywhere. Everywhere I looked, scattered papers were strewn across the ground. My initial rush to gather them was driven more by curiosity than concern. As I pieced together the documents, my heart sank. They were divorce papers, signed by Alex. Each signature felt like a punch to the gut. I stood there, numb, as the reality of the situation hit me. The man I had vowed to spend my life with had decided our journey was over, without even a word to me. The party around me faded into a blur as I clutched the documents, Alex's signature glaring up at me, confirming what I'd hoped wasn't true. This wasn't just an unforgettable party. It was the end of everything I thought we had. In the chaos that followed the pool incident, I sought clarity. My heart pounded as I approached Alex, holding the soaked documents that had unveiled a truth I was unprepared for. "Alex, what's this about?" I demanded, my voice stronger than I felt, thrusting the divorce papers toward him. Before he could respond, his mother interjected, her smugness making my skin crawl. "Oh dear, looks like your little scheme didn't work out, did it? Alex is leaving you. You thought you could trap him with a baby for his money?" I stared at Alex, searching his eyes for any trace of the man I had married, but he couldn't meet my gaze. His silence was more revealing than any words. With resignation, I signed the divorce papers. They were now just a formality, the closing chapter of a book I no longer wished to be part of. As the dust settled, Grandma approached, her presence a calming force. She didn't need to say anything. Her eyes conveyed volumes of empathy, understanding, and unspoken support that bolstered my resolve. Then she decided to reveal the truth, not just to me, but to everyone present. "She doesn't need any of your money," Grandma declared, her voice steady and strong. "In a month, she turns 25 and will inherit a fortune far beyond what you could imagine. She's been raised to value people over wealth and seek out genuine connections rather than financial gain." The room fell silent, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Gloria's face shifted from smugness to shock, then to a desperate greed as she began to backpedal, her apologies transparent and insincere. Alex, too, seemed suddenly eager to rewrite the narrative, insisting his intentions were never to hurt me and that he was merely influenced by his mother. But it was too late. The veil had been lifted, revealing the stark reality of our relationship and the motivations behind it. I met their apologies with a quiet smile, not out of forgiveness, but out of an inner peace that came from understanding my worth independent of the wealth that awaited me. "You've shown me your true colors," I said, my voice imbued with newfound strength. "As for surprises, well, I've prepared another one for you." At that moment, a loud honk pierced the tension. Outside, a sleek luxury car rolled up to the gate, the one I had secretly bought for Alex as a surprise. The irony wasn't lost on me. I couldn't help but let out a bitter laugh as I excused myself, stepping outside to confront the final act of this drama. There it was, the epitome of luxury on four wheels, a symbol of the love I thought we shared, now just another piece in the game of pretense and betrayal. Without a second thought, I slid into the driver's seat, the leather cool and unyielding beneath me, much like my resolve. Grandma, ever my rock, joined me, her presence a silent testament to the strength and dignity that ran in our blood. Turning to face the house, I saw Alex and his mother at the door, their expressions a mix of confusion and awe. "Everything from now on goes through my lawyer," I called out, my voice clear and devoid of the warmth it once carried. "And don't worry about my stuff. I'll have a courier pick it up." Their faces, once smug and self-assured, now displayed a picture of realization and loss, not just of the wealth they coveted, but of the person they had underestimated. With that, I turned the key, the car's engine purring to life, a sweet sound that promised freedom and new beginnings. Grandma and I shared a look, a silent agreement that this was the first step toward a future unburdened by deceit and manipulation. After the revelations and dramatic exits, the air seemed clearer, as if the truth had not only unveiled the greed and deceit, but also cleansed the path ahead. It wasn't long before the first test of my newfound resolve arrived. Via phone call, the shrill tone sliced through the calm. On the other end was Lily, her voice dripping with an unfamiliar sweetness. "Hey, I just wanted to clear the air between us. We're practically the same age, right? We could be friends." I couldn't help but let out a short, disbelieving laugh. The contrast between her sugary tone and her usual disdain was stark. "Friends?" I echoed the word, feeling it foreign. "You mean like how friends don't badmouth each other at parties or try to humiliate them in front of everyone?" There was a pause, as if she was scrambling for a response. "Well, you know, water under the bridge and all that," she attempted weakly. "Water into the pool, you mean?" I shot back, unable to resist the jab. The silence that followed was telling. It was clear my refusal to play along had derailed her plans. "Fine, be that way," she snapped, her veneer of niceness crumbling away. "You'll regret this." I hung up, feeling a mix of amusement and sadness. It was a stark reminder of the facades people wear and the lengths they'll go to when faced with the consequences of their actions. The temptation to retaliate was strong, a nagging thought in the back of my mind. I posted a video of her falling into the pool on social media. It went viral like wildfire. Within an hour, thousands had liked it. My sister-in-law had become an internet sensation. She tried to call me, demanding I take it down, but I blocked her. I was done with her fake sweetness and nasty attitude. A week later, my phone rang with a number I knew all too well. It was Gloria, her voice unnaturally sweet as she offered an olive branch. "Can't we reconcile for Alex's sake? Let's put the past behind us." "No, Gloria," I replied, firm but not unkind. "That ship has sailed. I wish Alex well, but our paths are diverging. I'm looking forward, not back." Not long after, Alex made his own attempts at reconciliation. One morning, I found a bouquet of flowers on my doorstep, the card bearing a simple "I'm sorry. Please come back" message. The sight of them sparked more anger than affection. Without a second thought, I tossed them into the trash. His efforts didn't stop there. He tried to visit, showing up unannounced, hoping to talk things through. But I wasn't the same person he had left behind. His presence, once a source of comfort, now felt like an intrusion. One evening, as he made yet another uninvited appearance, I met him at the door with a resolve as hard as steel. "If you don't stop this, I'm going to the police," I warned, my voice steady and firm. "Your apologies can't undo what's been done. It's over, Alex. Really over." The gravity of my words seemed to finally reach him. His shoulders slumped, and with a final lingering look, he turned and walked away. That was the last I saw of him. In the time that followed, I threw myself into charity work. It became my passion and purpose. Helping those truly in need and connecting with people who valued kindness over wealth brought me a joy I hadn't known was missing. Living with Grandma, I found peace in our quiet routine. We'd sit and plan our next project, our next way to make a difference. It was during these moments that I realized this was where I was meant to be. I had no illusions about the road ahead. It would be fraught with challenges and perhaps heartache. But I also knew it would be filled with joy, moments of unbridled happiness, and a kind of love that enriches the soul. And so, I live my life looking forward, not back. I work, I help, and I hope. I believe in a future where I'll find true love, not defined by wealth or status, but by genuine connection. And yes, one day, I'll have those 3 beautiful children I dream of. For now, I'm content, building a life of purpose surrounded by love that doesn't ask for anything in return. This isn't just the end of a chapter, it's the beginning of a whole new book, and I'm the one writing it.